I'd really like to introduce you to somebody. This is Jeremiah Balaki.
And I'm not really your typical student. My brain sort of goes on a little walkabout.
He's a prodigy. This cow's in labor.
Bye now. Best of luck with all that.
Calm her down.
Where is the bull that did this to you? Probably out partying with his friends.
Admission, a movie where Tina Fey does some shit. I was tired when I was watching this, and I'm tired right now. I'm not going to even lie. I hate to step into this half-ass, and I'm not doing that, but this... Anybody want to describe?
Corey, you're nothing. You're nothing if not honest. No one can accuse you of that.
I think you say, Corey, you're nothing if not half-assed.
I was like, I'm gonna go in Corey's room and check through his doors, make sure he doesn't have like a developing drug habit.
I know.
Like the second time in the second week.
Or the other part of my ass in there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, I was fucked up when I saw.
I wasn't fucked up. It was just I was just tired, man. And
It was early.
I'm looking at this and. You know something? One of the things that was interesting that Cyrus and I talked about is Tina Fey playing a character that is not very much of a departure from other characters that she's played.
Well, no.
She's pretty toned down in this movie, I thought.
I mean, in terms of comedy, but in what he means is a sense that, and even on 30 Rock, they've done this, 40-something woman, never had children, suddenly going through lots of regret about never having children, and a whole adventure opens up in front of her.
Okay, well, I guess she's played two characters like that. Yeah. I don't know how many other characters.
And the part that the other fact that she's playing like somebody who works at a school, where every time I look at her, she looks like if she wasn't doing this comedy thing, she'd be working at a school somewhere. That's
really?
It's
the glasses.
Just because those goddamn glasses. Yeah, and I think that's why you got tired, because as soon as I felt like you when I walked in that theater at 10 a.m. in the goddamn morning. And the first shot of the movie you get is people going to school, and then you see her in an office setting where it looks like a classroom. I couldn't help but think, God damn, this shit is like real life. This is the best 3D experience I've ever had. I already want to fall asleep.
Maybe that's what it was. I felt like I was going to class.
That's what it felt like.
I'm like, man, it's too. Because we saw this at 10 in the morning?
It was 10 in the morning.
I'm like, man, I didn't sign up for a 10 o'clock class.
No, I can't afford that shit, and I don't want it.
You bitches really need to shut up about how, it's so early, it's 10 in the morning. Most of the world has already had half their day gone by that time.
I'm not a morning person. Even I'm like, come on, guys, relax.
I forget Leon's other job as a goddamn rooster. So yeah, I apologize.
You know something? You know that
I'm a violin playing rooster, and I can get on my fiddle right now and listen to two of you.
You know that Army commercial that says we do more before 4 a.m. before most people?
More before 10 a.m.
I do more after 4 p.m. than less people.
I'm not sure what your argument is.
Me either.
Look, we're night people, all right?
Yes. I'm lazy. That's what it is.
Okay.
Awesome.
Admit that then. Don't act like the world is the problem.
The world is the problem.
Yeah. Hey, Leon, why don't you just become a farmer or something, dude, all right?
The upshot is you need me to explain what happened in this movie.
Yeah, yes. I know what it's about. It's just that I really did find this terribly uninteresting, this movie.
Well, the thing is, like, this is a film directed at a rather specific audience, to say the least, which is upper middle class white people.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Am I wrong? Does it seem that way?
No. As a matter of fact, it's based on a novel that's become popular recently.
For white people.
I speak for the upper middle class white people.
but it is. I mean, listen, it's very specific. And if you aren't a parent who has a kid who you're trying to get into an Ivy League school, the movie's kind of lost on you.
Well, you know what? I can tell you what the movie is about. Tina Fey plays an admissions agent or admissions officer at Princeton, and she prides herself on doing her job very well because Princeton is a place of high standards, and she's also in competition with another person who is up for a promotion.
Yeah, Gloria Rubin.
Yeah, and she's going to take over the department if the other person doesn't get it, and as she's on some of her recruiting missions, she goes to a school where Paul Rudd has a bunch of kids, and they're all kind of. It's a very liberal atmosphere.
It's a hippie school.
It is.
Yeah. Even liberals are like fucking hippies.
It's poor. Yeah. Okay, it's the opposite of Princeton. It's Princeton. But all the other kids. They're a bunch of smart asses. They're a bunch of shitty kids. They're giving her a hard time.
Well, no. They're smart kids. They're just not very disestablishmentarian.
No, they're all getting ready to.
Nice.
Yes,
did I use that right? Disestablishmentarian.
No, they're all getting ready to move to Portland. Yeah.
Well, basically, I mean, they're getting such a liberal education that they question everything. And she comes in from Princeton like, well, we're Princeton. Of course you want to go here. And they're like, says you.
Yeah, they're not unreasonable in their logic.
I mean, most college educations are not worth the money you pay for.
I'm sorry, but what is the point of going to spending that much money at this school that still only so many of a percentage of the students
they hold
go
it
on and have a successful career because of it?
Oh yeah, no, they hold it a task, but really they're getting a degree in assholishness. But but one
You're
kid,
just jealous.
I am
he's mad.
my uneducated ass. I could have gone to school if I wanted to, if I wasn't getting up at 4 p.m. But she runs across one student. And what's the student's name, man?
Jeremiah Balakian.
Yeah, that's right.
Played by Nat
He's
Wolff.
going to go far.
Yeah, he should be a Quaker.
Actually, he's done pretty well in his career so far.
Yeah,
Well, what's he been in before this?
Yeah. Well, he's a musician and he's done a lot of stuff.
he raised a barn.
He's a musician.
But you know what? This is the one kid that actually shows he's not giving a hard time. He's actually very curious about going to Princeton. He wants to go to Princeton. He doesn't just want to go to Princeton for any kind of prestigiousness or connections or networking. He wants to go because he actually wants to learn.
Jeremiah has to get his application in pronto. Work on his resume. A unique talent that demonstrates passion and commitment would be good. He has got to get going on his essay, and then you have to prepare him for an alumni interview. You may have built schools in third world countries and cleaned contaminated water from villages, but you have never tried to get a kid into Princeton.
Neither of you.
I am not trying. I am an admissions officer. I am just helping you try, as I would with any outstanding student who may have been overlooked. There's nothing improper going on here.
It's just,
Which is like, what?
which shows that he's already kind of off a little bit.
He definitely had that Rain Man type thing going on where he's like ready to learn.
Yeah, so
you belong in a community college.
Yeah. So it ends up this movie where Tina Fey she learns how to actually stand up to the system and say, hey, is this all about people just wanting to name drop, or is this about education? While at the same time, kind of drawn closer and closer into a relationship with Paul Rudd's character, who is the head of this poor school we were talking about.
Well, also an important plot point, and not a spoiler, is that Paul Rudd says, like, hey, this kid, I think you should take him on because I think he's your son. That son that you gave up in college. You put up for adoption. She's like, how'd you even know about that? I find out some things.
Because I'm stalking you.
Everyone knows about you being a dirty whore.
I could have said internet.
Yeah, I know it's called the
you
internet.
put it on Facebook last night.
You go to a school, right?
The thing is, though, even though this is marketed as more of a comedy, I found that it was the dramatic aspects and indeed the discussing of the problems with the educational system that I found interesting and even vindicating at points, going like, wow, this is actually pretty well done, the way they're pulling this together, the way she is trying to deal with her instincts as a Princeton officer, with her exposure to these new worlds, and the sudden, she didn't even know it was in her, like, maternal urges towards this kid. That conflict is really interesting. Mm-hmm. The problem is that every time it tries to be funny, it's just kind of embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, it fails miserably. That was the one thing that kept waking me up throughout this movie, is how bad the comedy was. I'm like, man, Paul Rudd, I don't know who he fucked over or what's going on, but just seeing him just tried so hard to be funny at these goddamn award shows recently, and watching this, I'm like, man, dude, you need to get a new agent. Because there's a lot of scenes in here that they're really trying hard for the laughs, and it just fails. And I'm talking about fails miserably.
Well, honestly, watching this, it made me really step back and look at Paul Rudd on the whole. And you go like, man, that Paul Rudd, he's such a handsome, nice guy that he gets a lot of talented friends who want to work with him. But when it comes time for him to step up and carry something, he ain't really got the chops for it.
No, he's always good at playing a supporting type character.
And he's except for like a few exceptions, like My Idiot Brother, he's mostly the same guy in every movie.
Yeah, agreed. And the thing is that he's not untalented at all. He's not unfunny usually. Depends on who he's working with. But I keep wanting to go, but you obviously like really intelligent comedy, which you keep being missing the mark on working with people with it. Woody Allen, Paul Rudd, Woody Allen. You guys are going to work out great together. And the thing is that this film is smart enough that it feels like if it had somebody who said, this comedy shouldn't all be stumbling over stuff and like really broad jokes, should be stuff that matches the rest of the material, you would have had a solid film.
Well, that's why it doesn't,
funny movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's why it doesn't work, because you have a lot of dramatic subplots in here. That seems kind of realistic based.
Yeah.
A reality based, where they do that comedy, and we've been talking about this about a lot of movies lately, where it's the kind of comedy where people don't do that in real life. And maybe if this was a broader film all around, maybe if it was an absurdist comedy, then that would work around. Maybe if it was an absurdist comedy, then that would work. But when Tina Fey just doing the silly stuff that she does, for her to be a recruiting agent at Princeton and to do some of the dumb things that she does in real life, it just doesn't fit.
It's not even her so much as the supporting characters that are played up for like ridiculously absurd. Most notably, Michael Sheen, who's brought in here as her ex, who leaves early on, and there's this running joke that's just awful that she keeps in embarrassing situations running into him and his bitchy new fiance that he's hooked up with. It's never funny.
It gets less funny every time they do it, and they keep forcing it. And it's almost like it feels like there'll be a time when the movie will be like, okay, well, that wasn't so bad, and maybe it's found its footing, and it'll throw that joke in and just derail the train.
It really did feel like two completely separate movies, because in one aspect, at least when the comedy didn't work, when they got into the more dramatic side of the story, especially the relationship that that they're building with this kid who could be her, they were wondering, it probably is her son, I thought that was the more stronger thing about the movie itself.
Absolutely.
And the only thing I was really paying attention to, plus, it just seemed like the movie didn't know where it wanted to go. There's times where I felt like, okay, even though I like this subplot that should be like it should be the main plot, yet at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know what the real main plot of this movie is. Is this about her having a relationship with Paul Rudd? Is this about her having a relationship with the son? What is really going on?
I've seen a movie like this I've seen it balance these kind of all these subplots in a way, and I don't think that it didn't do it bad.
They're all interrelated. None of those subplots, none of the dramatic subplots are just off in left field. They're all part of the same circle of story. It's just the comedy bits are subplots
and I've seen it
nothing to do with that.
And that's what was throwing me off. I mean, those were the biggest bumps in the road.
Well, I don't know what this book is like. I know, like you said, it's based on a popular book right now. And
Studying for your SATs.
Is that the name of the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it really?
No, I'm kidding.
I just started the bookstore and it said admission.
I would never pick that shit up.
But this is directed by Paul Weitz, and that's the brother of Chris Weitz. And did they both direct About a Boy?
They're kind of a team. They work together more than they haven't.
Chuck and Buck.
Yeah, Chuck and Buck. But this is Paul Weitz's movie, and I know he's affiliated with About a Boy. And that's a movie, and that's probably one of their most well-known movies besides American Pie,
Right.
But this movie reminded me of About a Boy because it had sort of a same central character, somebody who was going through some sort of issue of growth in their life, and but it was balanced by comedy. But if you take the story in About a Boy, that comedy was sweet. It was never never exaggerated. Yeah. You know what I mean? And and they don't do that here. I mean, they really are going out their way to do sketch comedy for a laugh.
Yeah, but like I said, with Tina Fey though, I honestly would like to see her do something a little bit more serious where they're not catering it to her more comedic elements, because watching the trailer, it really throws you off on what this movie is. I mean, I was like, okay, this is not what they sold to me at all in the trailer. And I understand, because I want to know how to sell this. With the premise itself, I don't know how I would get regular moviegoers or even fans of her and her comedy in the theater realizing that this is not what you're expecting at all.
Coles is feeling betrayed right now.
I feel like this movie could have worked a whole lot better had it just been a straight drama. And I wonder about the book. Like, was the book written to be funny? Because it felt like, okay, maybe it was written as a serious book, and then once they got acquired and they got Tina Fey and Paul Rudd, it's like, well, if we're going to have them attached to it, we got to write jokes for it. We got to make it funny, make it light.
It's like having The Rock in your movie, and you're like, well, we got to write an action scene in here.
You don't think that this would have been too boring had it been a straight drama?
Actually, no. Because as Cyrus brought up, the whole thing about college admissions, that's extremely relevant right now, and it's something to be explored in a serious way, not to just joke about it. Because the idea that all this money, this fortunes are being dropped on colleges for kids to have these educations that may take them nowhere. Like this information is starting to break everywhere.
I don't know. I think that would be better left for a documentary, not so much for
a documentary.
I found all the dramatic stuff in here actually really interesting, and I will hand it to this film that while I hated almost all the comedic stuff, there's not a lot of it. It's just very hit and miss. This is a dramedy, like something like Spanglish or something like that, where you're like, it's a film that they're selling as a comedy, but ultimately the comedy is only just here and there. It just doesn't work when it does happen. The drama on the whole really does. This is an interesting story with interesting main characters. Even Lily Tomlin as her mom is so out of place here. It's embarrassing. You're like,
that felt like a whole nother subplot.
It felt like Tina Fey just said, I really want to work with Lily Tomlin. Not that I can blame her, but she has no place in this film.
Can I say something about Lily Tomlin though? Lily, I know this is a big running joke with me, but I'm being serious here. Does Lily Tomlin not look better today than she did when she was young?
At the whole time I was watching the movie, I kept thinking that. Because when I was in high school, she came to our school, and I was looking at this movie. I
took you to prom?
No, she took my girlfriend to prom. She's a famous lesbian.
I know.
I ain't
what?
out anybody. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
but watching this movie, I was like, wow, she's
crushed.
Second time tonight. I know. But I was like, wow, she's looking better now than she did back then.
You know, she may look better, but she just has that goddamn sourpuss face and a half. I'm expecting, like, you know, when she did I Heart Huckabees and they had that extra footage of her flipping the fuck out of that car. I'm expecting a scene like that because halfway through, I'm like, I wonder if after this scene she got pissed off of everybody on the set and started yelling at people.
I know. Sorry,
I want to see that.
She did look like that teacher that got mad at you all the time when you were in school. The one whose class you never did want to take.
Because every time she yelled at her daughter, I was like, wow, this looks like it's coming from a real place.
She's played as such a major, ridiculous, absurd bitch where you're like, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure there are people kind of like this, but not to the degree that she's absurd. And then tries to turn it around and pull it back at one point and go, oh yeah, we're also a drama, so now we're suddenly going to take her from a comedic parody to a real life dramatic character, and it doesn't sell.
It does. That part I could not buy to save my life. I'm like, no, they should have just kept her just a mean bitch and just go, hey, I'm your mother. Either you love me or you don't. Or I'm here. Let me know. Yeah, come back next week with another bag of your problems.
Again, her story could have been easily cut out of this film. It could have been rerouted, the little tendrils that go back to the main story and gone a different direction, and it would have been better for it. Once again, if the comedy had been removed, it would have actually been kind of an interesting.
Or if they had
you guys are absolutely right about it. Should have focused on her, the mission, maybe the admission, but the son, because that's the strongest thing.
That character, that actor is actually really good.
Wait a minute, which son are y'all talking about?
The guy who's ostensibly her son, maybe her son.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about Nat Wolff's character.
Yeah. Who's actually really interesting. He's a guy's obviously got one of those guys with that super advanced future dude brains that doesn't fit into our world at all.
I'm gonna say right now, that's gonna be the next Peter Parker. In 2 years, that's the new Peter Parker. That kid playing that role.
You really
saying that right now.
Want that?
I'm going down. He's going to be the new Peter Parker.
This is me. I'm you from the future. Are you sure you want to put this out there?
I'm sure.
I thought you were going to say, I'm you from the future. Shut the fuck up. That's not going to happen.
I'm sorry, Corey. I know you love that new Spider-Man shit, but this kid is going to be the new one. All right.
Wait a minute. Where does this even come from? Why are you so hell-bent on naming the next Peter Parker right now?
Because this guy's actually, he's a talented motherfucker.
You know what? I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to say Paul Rudd's going to be the next Peter Parker.
How dare you? You can't say that. You can't say that after I said this about this kid.
He's going to be the next Green Lantern. and it won't be good. Once again, Paul Rudd will be going, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
I'm you from the future to wipe your tears. That's what I'm here to do. No, it's unfair for me to say that this movie is, and I'm coming from the past and kicking my own self in the ass and saying that was not right for me to say that this movie is uninteresting, because we just named a bunch of stuff that was interesting in the movie. There's a lot of subplots that work in. You're right. Most of the dramatic stuff works, not the comedy. The comedy at best is cute. None of it is really laugh out loud or even a chuckle for me.
Says Corey. Exactly.
You heard it here first.
But it undercuts the resonance of it undercuts the resonance of the dramatic stuff they're trying to set up to give you feeling, and then every time it's like, here's something goofy.
No, it does. It does.
You know what? You just said the funniest thing out of this movie.
Yeah, exactly. No. It's. I don't think it really brings the movie down. It just doesn't give me enough of what I really liked in the film, and it's nothing. When I say it's not interesting, it is, but it's nothing that really sticks with me when I'm leaving the theater. When I'm sitting there, I was actually, I was bored in a few parts too. And a lot of the stuff had to do with when I wasn't rolling my eyes, I was sitting up there waiting for a few characters that I like to come on. Because I did like Paul Rudd. I mean, I don't really think he's carrying the movie.
You always like Paul Rudd.
And what's wrong with that?
That was Paul Rudd was genetically engineered in a lab.
Man,
I know.
Just so you can like him. You'll never love him. He'll never really
He's
make
a
you
nice
mad.
guy,
But
man.
He's a nice guy. He'll never really
He's
make
a
you
nice
mad.
guy,
But
man.
He's a nice guy.
Come on,
And
man.
He's got a pleasant face that you like to look at.
I know they got clones of this motherfucker. They're just throwing him in movies. That's why he's in like 3 movies a year.
Oh,
and,
man,
and
yo,
Mr.
stop.
Cool Man over here is suffering from Stockholm syndrome.
Stop it. Just stop.
Like, he's a nice guy. He's playing the goddamn same
Were
guy.
you, were you bit by a radioactive Paul Rudd?
Why does it hurt you so bad to say that he's a nice guy?
You're already saying
Nazis
you're already
created Paul
saying
Rudd.
he's going to be Spider-Man.
What?
God damn it.
Paul Rudd's a Nazi now?
No, but Nazi scientists created him.
Yeah.
They want to find the perfect middle of the road guy.
You stop.
And now you fall in love with him.
I'm standing.
Fascism is right around the
I'm
corner.
standing
He's
behind.
Milka powdered toast man.
I don't care. I don't care. I found him pleasant in the movie.
Yep.
Shit, y'all act like I'm trying to say he was a leading man here or something. No, he was not.
I'm trying to say you're sucking his dick.
I don't care. You know what? Riddle. Shit.
You want to make love to Paul Rudd, don't you?
Why does it always go for me like, I like this guy that you want to fuck him, don't you?
Because you usually bring it there.
He does have a nice face, like you said. I don't have to put a brown bag over that.
Having Paul Rudd's face on your screensaver does not help Corey.
and having me Photoshop myself hugging him doesn't help too much either.
See, Corey, the thing is, you always take things too far. You're too hyperbolic, and it's hard to follow what you're saying. And what's even more annoying is that I agree with you 100%. Even to the point of saying that
Paul Rudd's nice.
No, I'm sorry, not 100%.
Leon,
More like 90.
you do that shit too. You need to get Corey's goddamn face off your goddamn screensaver for once.
No. The thing is, Paul Rudd, I actually genuinely didn't like him in this movie. But I found Tina Fey's character, the whole thing, just to me not interesting. I mean, it's really narrow casting. That's the whole time. I was like, I don't know who this is supposed to appeal to, except for people who just aren't asking for a whole lot, or who are trying to get their kids into Princeton. If that's the case, yeah, see this, because you'll get an education. Otherwise, it's a drama that every time it tries to pick up speed, the comedy just throws a big roadblock in the road. You have to start all over again. And by the time it was done, I just didn't really care. I was only care because once it ended, it meant I got to go home. It's just right there. It's a rental.
You know what? I just want to say, what disappoints me the most, when I learned that Tina Fey was in this movie, because I didn't see a trailer or anything for it, I went in expecting more from her.
Sure.
And I was disappointed by just not her acting, but that they made her such an uninteresting character.
Yeah, where's Mean Girls 2 with Emma Stone?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. No, I like this better than either one of you guys did, because like I said, I felt like while I agree with the things you're saying, I don't think they were egregious or as common in the film as you're saying they are either. Yeah, there's every time there's comedy, it pretty much undercuts the drama that's going on. But I thought, like I said, the drama was actually pretty interesting. To say only people who are putting kids in Princeton would be interested, I disagree with that too. I have problems with the education system as a whole, and I think this has nothing to do with Princeton specifically. It's saying, wow, this whole urge to throw your kids into higher institutions like this because that's the only way they're going to work out. I think the film's really addressing those things.
How else are they going to learn about drugs?
I'll teach them. That being said, at the end, it kind of pusses out with that discussion. It kind of goes, well, I think we've said enough to say we've cast some doubt on it. We don't actually have to have a resolution that relates to it in any real way.
But in the end, go Princeton.
Not really. No, it's not pro-Princeton at the end. If anything, it's anti-Princeton at the end.
Oh, no.
Kind of. But I like Tina Fey's character in here. I liked Paul Rudd's character in here. He's not someone I would go hang out with, but I thought, okay, given the context of the type of guy he is, the stuff he's into, he seemed like a realistic enough guy to me. I didn't have any problem with that.
Yeah, we live in Austin that's full of flakes like him.
I enjoyed watching their interaction. I did. And I enjoyed the whole interaction, especially with Tina Fey and her ostensible son here in the film. I wish somebody could have gone over this thing just like with a fine-tooth comb, picked out all the little parts that just felt out of place, because this could have been, I thought, like an Albert Brooks type comedy, if they had fixed the comedy. And
I don't want to see that either.
Oh, see, I love Albert Brooks.
I love Albert Brooks too, but man, that's some high praise you're giving it.
No, I'm saying I think it could have been. It's got the right type of dramatic background. You just need to bring good comedy to it, which they never did. Unfortunately for me, this is a low matinee, which is still not a lot higher than what you guys are giving it, but I think you're not giving it quite enough credit for what it does do really well.
You don't know what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what he
Will you stop looking at your Paul Rudd screensaver?
I really am looking at my computer right now.
See all the twinkles in his eyes.
All right, co-host, the two of them have sucked Paul Rudd's dick. You might as well do it too.
Well, it ain't happening, brother. I don't do that shit.
But if he plays Peter Parker,
Peter Parker be blowing me. Once I get him that part.
No Adam Sandler.
Yeah. You could say that again. Yeah, he is no Adam Sandler. No, man, this movie is boring like school. I mean, I don't. Man, who getting up 10 in the morning to see this shit?
Did old Weird Harold right there?
Let me show you my dreads. No. This movie, it was completely like, they pulled a fast one on everybody with, trying to disguise it as a comedy, and it's not. It's Tina Fey's most, unmemorable comedy if she ever made one. Especially Paul Rudd too. That motherfucker is just like a signpost. He's just there. I don't think he's bringing anything new to the table. He's just there just to be there so Tina Fey can have someone to fucking kiss, I guess. But yeah, but the one highlight I will admit was the kid, the actor playing the kid, Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, he was really great, and his chemistry with Tina Fey was really awesome. But it did feel like it was a whole other movie when those scenes did happen, and that's the one that chemistry and that storyline was the only thing that had my interest. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it'd be really hard to recommend this movie to anybody unless you care about how Princeton is screwing over people. A big fucking surprise. But other than that, it's
Princeton screwing over people.
It's a rental. Oh, they're screwing over people. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Princeton's screwing over a lot of people, brother.
Like you, because you didn't get in.
I try to get in. They don't even let me get to the curb.
They don't even let you go to the website.
Seriously, like you did an SAT for Princeton. You did an SCAT for the school hard knocks.
Oh no, he did an SAT. He sat. He did nothing else.
I know you didn't ask for this, but I care about this kid.
This is the worst transcript I have ever seen.
Portia, you didn't mean to put high consider, did you?
He was a lost kid, and then he was found.
I forgot you're in a very fragile state.
Maybe you'd like to step outside, see how fragile I am. Only kidding. Thank you for your thoughts, Corinne.
You want to go out sometime?
Yes.
I mean, with me.
Oh, yes. I am an admissions officer. There's nothing improper going on here.